Hey guys, what's up? It's Destry. Welcome back to not my yard today. I am actually here at a rental property that my husband and I own together. And we are going to be doing some yard cleanup today and really trying to make this space a lot nicer for the tenants that are moving in, like starting tomorrow. So I'm on a short time frame, I'm on a tight budget, but let's see if I can make this yard look a little bit better. So I have a couple places in mind that I'm going to try to spruce up a little bit, depending on how much I can get done in a short amount of time. So let me take you around this yard and show you a couple things I have in mind. So here is my rental property, and you can see it's in pretty bad shape. This used to be a nice flower bed. It used to have some plants in it. You can see I even had some trellises here with some clematis, and after being a rental for many years, the property has just kind of seen better days. I can tell this is where I had the hose reel, which I think might be around here somewhere. We've got a whole area here we need to fix, but mainly I'm going to try to concentrate on this garden bed here, and I don't think I'll be able to plant the whole thing up, but hopefully I can at least get the whole thing weeded. And then what I was thinking is about just doing a few plants right up in here where it's closest to the house, or maybe some pots or something like that up here. But yeah, this is the back patio space. It's a little covered patio, and then in the yard there's a lot of branches that need cleaned up, but over here is where I used to have another flower bed. So right here there's rocks that went around this tree in a circle, which you can kind of see, and you can see some remnants of some Brennera that I planted, which is all in bloom actually, and it looks really pretty. There's a little volunteer here that I might transplant back up into this area. So I'm gonna leave this, but I might try to just weed this area and get this circle looking a little bit better, and kind of replace some of the rocks and try to get this looking nicer. This used to be so pretty through here. I'm gonna try to find some old pictures, although they're so old I don't know that I can. And then let me show you in the front. The front is actually what I'm really gonna focus on. Back here it's mostly going to be weeding and removing all of the branches, but out front I'm going to try to do some planting. So let me show you that area. So this is the front of the property, and this is where I'm going to spend most of my time, is on this front walk. Now this used to be all filled with bulbs, iris bulbs, but one of the previous tenants had a special needs son that was allergic to bees, so they literally dug them all out, which was kind of a bummer. But now you can see there's nothing here except weeds. So I'm gonna run to the plant store and see what I can find to sort of fill up some of this front walkway area, and of course do some weeding. It looks like I do have this plant here, which is actually looking really good, so I'll go through and deadhead this. But this is actually looking pretty good through here. And then, yeah, just go through and kind of trim this up a little bit. So I got this table and chairs all cleaned up. So this is gonna stay with the property. The woman says she wants it. And I found this super cute little container just out and about. So I'm gonna use this as a planter, and I am gonna bring some flowers into here. I might also look and see if I can find, an inexpensive rug or something, just to kind of welcome them in and make this just like a little bit more inviting here. So I'll have to see what I have, but I'm gonna try to make this look a little bit better. All right, so we've looked at kind of what my plan is. So I'm gonna go ahead and start in this back patio area. Now, it's actually the next day from when I filmed some of that footage, and I came prepared. So I have my gloves, all my gardening stuff, and I actually went through my shed and found this old, it's kind of like a beach mat or rug, I guess. And it's not anything I'm using, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to spruce up this table a little bit. I'm gonna put the rug down, and then I found this, yesterday I found this cute little container, just left in the on the property. So I brought some flowers. I've just got some pansies and some sweet alyssum, and I'm gonna make up a little arrangement for the center of the table. Little table and chairs, and again, this was left from the previous tenant and it's kind of beat up, but we did pressure wash them, and here's how the little planter turned out, and I think it's just going to be really sweet. It's a little something here in the backyard. All right, so I want to go ahead and show you the plants I got for this area. You can see I tilled up the soil a little bit and got it ready for planting. So what I did is I grabbed some wallflowers. I actually had one that I just brought from home that I had used in a different planter arrangement. And then I got several of the wallflowers, and I also got this. Let's see, what is this called? I have some of this in my yard. So this is a Lithidora, Grace Ward Lithidora. So this one blooms pretty well all summer. I know it can take heat, so I have some experience with this plant. And it will spread. It will be a ground cover. So here's another of the wallflowers, really pretty yellow pop here. I've got another purple, another one of the ground cover, another yellow, and then this is the purple one I brought from home. And interspersed here are some seedlings. Now I did the winter sowing method, and these are actually California poppies. So this should be a beautiful, bright orange color in the summer. And again, I know they can take heat, and they should reseed themselves and become like a perennial. They should kind of naturalize in the area. The wallflowers are also perennials, as well as the ground cover that I chose. So I'm hoping that the new tenant, you know, as long as they keep this area watered pretty well, it should survive and do well in this area, and hopefully some of these flowers will last. I know it does get really hot here with, you know, being right up next to concrete. But I think it looks really good. So, and of course we're gonna rebark this area too, so that'll look nice. And then right here in front of the step, that's kind of, I don't know quite what I'm doing here. I remember having really big lavender bushes here that were beautiful. And again, I don't know if they died or what happened to them, but I was thinking about doing that again, actually, and getting some lavender, which should perennialize. Again, does good in the heat, and, you know, hopefully we'll get tall enough to cover this brick concrete step, which is like not the most attractive thing. We did get a hose and a sprinkler for the new tenant, and then this sedum is gorgeous. So I thought about getting in here with my shovel and seeing if I can divide it, but honestly, it's the best looking thing in this whole garden, so I don't want to totally mess it up. So I think I'm just gonna leave it. And then yeah, everything else is just roadies and this like giant hedge and stuff. So we're probably just gonna rebark through here. I'm not gonna do any planting, but I will weed the area. And then mainly wanted to focus on this kind of front walk entryway, just so that it looks a little nicer for everybody, the neighbors, the tenant, and spruce it up a little bit. So here we go. planted up, and I think it's going to be really pretty. I did some weeding, I did some trimming, but let me show you what I'm finding, which is all these rocks. So I think this would look a lot better if I dug some of them out and kind of refreshed them. And I'm also finding more rocks like within the landscape. So I think I'm going to try to use these and just like do something different with these. What that is, I'm not sure yet, but again, I'm doing this on a budget, so I'm going to use what's here and try to, you know, do something that has some impact here instead of just having these ones were literally like buried in here, like you couldn't even see them anyway. So let me see what I can do with some rocks, but yeah, it's looking good so far. There's a big truck behind me, so hopefully you can hear me, but here is the finished product. Gosh, I wonder if I have a good before picture. I hope I do. Anyway, I've got more of these stones and rocks out back, so I'm gonna see if I have enough to line the rest of this bed. But I did find this little stepping stone that was kind of just by itself, so I thought that would be a good place to just have a step across there. And then I rearranged these stones and kind of you know, hose them off and stuff. We do have a new hose and a new sprinkler. And yeah, I think the whole thing is looking 100% better. So what I would still like to do is get some lavender bushes or something large there. But I'm not sure if that'll get to that today. But still, it looks 110% better. And we still need to mulch. We're still gonna bark this area too. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out. And I think it really dressed up the front of this house. Okay, so I have moved on to the backyard of this project, and as you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but whew, this has taken some elbow grease. So here's what I've gotten done so far up to the bricks there, and here's what I have left to go. We're talking about a weed garden here. We're talking about hand pulling a lot of things. I do have my garden claw thing, which is helping a little bit. And anyway, this whole area is going to get barked. I don't think we're going to be planting it up, but at least it will look fresh. And, you know, the new tenant moving in could plant something here if she wanted to, but my goal is just to get it looking a little bit more intentional and weeded. Here we go. All right, well, here it is all done. Doesn't look like much, but you know what? At least it's not a bunch of weeds. So we got it all weeded. My husband Corey, I have to go get the kids and all that, but my husband Corey's going to finish up by barking all of that. So I don't have the budget to plant things, but at least it will be barked and ready for the tenant if she wanted to plant a little veggie garden or something like that. It would be. And then we're going to wind up the hose there. And then over here, I weeded the kind of circle here around the big tree. And we're also going to bark this in just to freshen this area up. And the Brunnera looks so pretty. I found a couple of the Brunnera that had, you know, self-propagated kind of out in here. So I kind of moved it back to hopefully kind of fill in that area. Probably should grab a couple more of them, but it looks pretty for right now. And I actually cut a few and put them in a little mason jar in the kitchen for the new tenant, just as a welcome, because I didn't have any other flowers out here to cut except those, but they're pretty. So anyway, my husband's going to do a quick after shot of these two areas after he barks them in. And again, we're getting that area repaired. And yeah, I think it looks really good. I think that we did a lot of work in a short amount of time, and it's definitely looking better than it did. So yeah, feeling proud.
So here's a couple pictures of how the property looked after we laid down all the bark mulch, and I think it turned out really nice and fresh and clean. So hopefully you liked checking out this video today. If you did, could you subscribe to my channel and give it a like? I would really appreciate it. And if you need me, I'll be hanging out in my Oregon yard. See you guys next time. Bye.